Okay, so I make it that it is now 3 o'clock, so without further ado I will introduce Phil Oakley. So Phil Oakley is from a company called Outserve, and we connected, well, full name is Outserve Web, isn't it? We connected recently via LinkedIn, and we met for a coffee over in Staffordshire. Phil has got 30 years of experience in general in terms of technology, but 15 years working with accountancy practices as well, 15 years working with IT systems. And he now runs a business specializing in ultimately helping accountants implement some of the latest thinking in terms of cloud integration, digital marketing aspects. And really, I mean, I'm speaking for Phil right now. I'm sure he'll do a much better job than me at introducing himself, but he works with accounting practices to help them get the best stuff in place for their practice to be as productive and as efficient as possible. Right, I'm going to just share the slideshow now on my screen. In fact, I'm just trying to do that right now. So just bear with me one more second, and then I will pass you over to Phil. Right, would you like to wheel forward?
Absolutely. I'm presuming that everybody can now see the slides rather than us, but please put it in the chat box if you're not seeing what you expect to on the screen.
I'm just going to very briefly move the chat box whilst you're talking, because it should be just over there.
While Shane sorts the technology this end, yes, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you very much for spending hopefully the next, say, 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour-ish, if you've got plenty of questions that we can take at the end. And as Shane said, it's interesting that we actually met on LinkedIn, Shane and I, using the social media, using technology as we do now. And just to follow up what Shane said, I actually trained as an accountant, spent 15 years working in accountancy practice some time ago, so I know some of the challenges that accountants face and how we like to help our clients. But also, you'll see I wasn't very good at as an accountant, and that's why I moved over to work with accounting systems. But really today, it's quite a high level, looking to cover lots of things. I'm sure lots of things you'll have heard of before, lots of solutions you know, but it's a good time, I think, to focus and see how these different applications and different technologies could work together. But as a few, just a bit of an introduction and discussion.
Sorry, I've clicked off. There you go.
I'm sure we were all glued to the budget last week, and our friend Mr. Hammond made some interesting announcements.
Technology, eh? We're here to do technology. Now, I've already messed it up for Phil somehow.
So that was the one quote I took away from the budget. You know, regrettably, our productivity growth continues to disappoint, and there's many things that are not perfect in our economy. And obviously, we want to help ourselves as businesses, and no doubt help our clients over the next few years. As well as this, I'm sure many of you have seen this part of the website, which goes back a couple of years now. It's a nice part of the BBC website that will actually tell you how likely it is that a robot will take your job. Lots spoken about automation, artificial intelligence, and not the subject of today's talk, really. We're going to look more at how real-world cloud technologies can be used today to help us and our clients. But I always find it interesting that, yeah, if you do still go onto this part of the website, put in you're a chartered or certified accountant. According to the BBC statistics, and behind this, it is highly likely, they reckon, that the world of accountants will be greatly affected by automation and theoretically replaced by robots. Actually, I think the two jobs more likely to be replaced by robots are bookkeepers and finance managers. So they're getting us from all angles, it would appear. But I'm far more interested in looking at the positives, looking at how we can grow our businesses, help our clients grow our business. I was very interested to see this come out from the government back in March this year. I'm not sure anyone had a chance to read it. Not completely exciting, I must admit, all parts of it, but there was a UK digital strategy published in March 2017, which covered parts of the government themselves and how they would use digital to help. But there were some great parts of this report actually that looked at how businesses could improve, grow, become more profitable using some of the latest digital technology. And there was quite a nice executive summary if you get a chance, but even if you haven't got a chance, I've managed to read it and just take the most important parts out, I think. And some of the things they were saying was about digital capabilities. We know we've got a skills issue. It's highlighted in the budget again, but from their stats, with digital capabilities help boost revenues by 4% and reduce costs by 4.3%. Now, again, if we had that sort of growth across all businesses, I'm sure we wouldn't have had the sort of budget announcements we did last week. Also, the SMEs, and I've highlighted the word strong here, SMEs with a strong web presence on average grow more than twice as quickly as those with no presence, export twice as much, and create twice as many jobs. Again, I think these are the sort of things that we'd like to help some of our clients with, like to see the clients grow and like to see our own businesses grow as well. But basically, this report, if you read the executive summary, came out with 4 things. It really just boiled down to 4 things that most businesses need to do to remain competitive. Number 1, as mentioned there, was have a strong web presence. I'm going to touch on that a bit in the technologies that we talk about today. There's no doubt that many businesses are on the web. There's many that aren't on the web as well, but there's many who are on the web that you could probably argue, although they're on the website, have a website, they may not actually have a very strong and active web presence. Selling online, highlighted by the report, help the economy, grow businesses, export, made slightly easier if a lot more businesses sell online. I'm always interested to see accountants and other professional firms selling their services and even their products online. Again, I think you could probably think of your own client bases and think about the percentage of clients you have who sell online. Use the cloud. Obviously, this is what we're going to be talking about a lot. Government statistics and the research has shown that not enough businesses are actually using the cloud who could benefit from it. And that's obviously not just in accounting software like Xero and QuickBooks and Sage 1 that many of us would know, but different parts of the cloud that we're going to touch on today. And integrating the back office. A lot of the time that would be about integrating the back office of the cloud applications. Again, there's a lot of repetition, manual entry, duplication. And if we could just cut down on some of this, making us more efficient, making us more productive, hopefully we could improve that productivity growth and hopefully not take us 17 years to get back to wage levels of 2008. I did just drag this chart that came out of the same report, which I thought was all very interesting as well. And it was the government's own report that directly compared us to France and Germany, as they often do like to do. Starting on that first bar chart, we'll probably maybe not be surprised that even now our internet access, as good as it may be for some, there's still a good percentage of people who have not got good internet access. And we're lagging behind even France and Germany in having good internet access, business connectivity. And of course, all these things we're going to talk about today, if you haven't got a good internet connection, they're really not going to help you. And as I've talked to a lot of businesses, it's not just about the speed. You know, it's great having super fast broadband that you can watch Netflix and streaming media, but it needs to be consistent. It needs to be reliable for us to take advantage of these things. Again, there, as you can see by the second bar chart, there's a lot of UK businesses that still don't have a website. Actually, nearly 1 in 5 businesses from this poll and these statistics do not have a business website. One thing we are actually ahead of France. Third one being the use of ERP, enterprise resource planning software, and I'll come on to that in a bit about what I think. Well, if you look at the definition of what they mean by ERP software, we're incredibly low down as a percentage of businesses. As we are low with the use of a customer relationship management system, so I'll talk a bit about that. Just frankly, having a customer and a prospect database, most businesses do not have that sort of software running in their business. And again, the sharing of supply chain management information, I would just explain that even internally for most businesses, their accounts department are not aware or not sharing information with the order processing or the logistics and stock holding, let alone start to share that information with the clients, the customers and the client base. So we are unfortunately not benefiting from the technologies out there, and clearly as a benchmark, when we look at other countries, they appear to be ahead of us in these technologies as well. I just put that there as a quick definition for enterprise resource planning. It's actually any software package capable of sharing information among different functional areas. So there you can see accounting, planning, production and marketing, which we're going to touch a little bit on today. So actually, if you had a system like Xero account software, which was actually integrated or connected in with a customer database or a CRM system, that would actually apply to as an ERP definition. Again, most of the businesses in the UK today not doing this. I've broken it down really between the technologies I'm going to talk about. First area really being what I call first line communications. This is how, when we deal with a prospect or a client first time, it might be people coming to our website. For our client businesses, it might be coming to their e-commerce store and prospects. Then more to second line communications, maybe where we've got the client on board, we're doing work for them, we have a project, maybe we're communicating through marketing to them. This is when we've sort of got them from their initial communication. And please, be thinking again of not just yourselves, but maybe the client base as well, or clients you're trying to help. And of course, our back office, including our account system, our clients' account system, our staff and HR and CRM systems. And I'll give some the top 10 that we're going to look at in a second. But just to say, I said 10 cloud technologies that all accountants should know about. I'm sure you do know about them. Some maybe you've not heard of, or different ones doing similar solutions. But also advise clients about. I don't think you need to be an expert in all of these areas to at least have an awareness to maybe point your clients in the right direction, or know when you talk to a client that actually maybe they could benefit from some of the technologies that are out there. Some accountants looking to do more on the advisory side of things, some more as a signpost to have an awareness of these so they can tell their clients about them, especially if clients may have any questions. But also use, I don't think there's anything that we're going to cover here today that, one, I haven't seen an accountant use. So there's an accountant somewhere that's using all of these pieces, and maybe they could be useful in your business. I'm sure many of you are using lots of parts of this in your business already. So there are the 10, and as you can see already, that's why I'm no longer an accountant, is I'm going to give you one more for free. So there's 11 on my top 10, but there's so many good things to talk about and think about when it comes to cloud technologies. I couldn't fit it into 10, so I've had to go for 11. Those first, I've even color-coded it back to those sort of different things. We're even going to start talking about simple things like chat boxes and along with e-commerce and CRM to tools that you might help manage your clients with, help your clients understand a bit more about if they want to manage their customers and clients, through to some back office applications. So I will start talking about chat boxes. I'm sure we're very aware these days. Often when we see that little icon in the bottom right-hand corner, that this would be on a website, but we've got an ability there to click on that icon, and normally you get a little box like this might pop up, sometimes with some pictures, allowing us to ask a question. Now these are popping up all over the place on lots of different websites. I must admit, I'm not seeing many chat boxes come up on accountancy websites, and I think that's an interesting area where professional services can start using tools like this to assist and get to their clients a lot quicker. I did just recently, having a good look around the web, as I often do at different people's websites, different accountants' websites, come across this website from an accountant's where you probably won't be surprised they're actually Australian accountants, and sometimes I look at some of the Australian firms, see how they're doing with the use of technology. I speak to quite a few Australian firms. I have a few Australian clients. Always interesting to see how different countries and different professions are dealing with this, and I did find it very interesting that you can hopefully see on this website. They have two of my favourite things to see on the website. One is a customer testimonial video, which I think is always beneficial, right on their homepage there, which looks very authentic. But also, they've got a leave a message chat box right there on the side. And even on this one, every time I clicked on it, they were just apologising for being away. But to be fair, that might have been because every time I was looking at their website, it was UK time, and in Australia they were fast asleep. But again, it's a great method that even if you can't be online at that time, you can allow someone to send a very quick and easy message through a chat box. Saying that many of the accountants that I know would always be available to answer a phone, may have reception staff who are answering a phone, may have their whole team prepared to live interact with a client or a prospect. The opportunity to do that through a chat box, do that through electronic means, I think could be very useful for some accountants, some professional firms, and a lot of our clients as well. I've just drilled down, that's what the box would have looked like. And I'll come back to this because you might just see, if you can see the bottom of that side, that's actually using a piece of software called Zendesk. You might have come across Zendesk, but I'm going to talk about that a bit later. And that shows also how this chat box integrates back into other back office systems and other applications. But reasons why you might want to look at a chat box. Again, I've got some notes that you can have at the end. I've got a link that you can have the notes. Also, we can make the slides available if that's helpful. So I'm sure some people will be taking notes, but if you want to have these slides so you can see some of the things that I've put down there, it's obviously the statistics tell us that a third of those that engage with chat boxes go on to become a lead by sign up. Conversion rates of people who've started interacting, obviously it's a massive big buying signal a lot of the time. If they've got questions or they want to interact, it's a great place to grab them in. I do think it is giving businesses a competitive advantage just from having a chat box there. If you're just looking around for an example, an accountant, and you're looking on people's websites, you see one accountant has a chat box and one accountant doesn't have a chat box. Even if you don't use that chat box, it does send a bit of a signal. And also someone might remember that one looks like they have more instant interactions. Even if they don't, it will appear that they do have a more open, interactive and maybe modern way of communicating. And that's, I think, the same for all businesses. It's a great way. It starts the conversation with potential clients. It's a great way, very easy, very low barrier, sort of a frictionless interaction. They don't need to pick up the phone and press 1 for this, press 2 for that. They don't need to open up their email client and put in the email you put on your website. Instantly, they've got the opportunity to interact and hopefully to actually get an answer quickly as well. We'll touch on this. It's great that it can integrate to other systems. So it could be at this point, once you've taken that interaction, that it goes straight into your customer database, client relationship management system. You're starting to gather information straight away as part of your history with that client. And it does, I think, definitely give you a strong and active web presence. Goes back to a lot of things we mentioned at the beginning about how we can grow our businesses. Is really by having a strong and active web presence. If actually you are active there on your website, and of course you're not sitting there waiting, once that chat box is activated, it would have an alerting system, just like having a phone ring. So it's not that anybody's sitting around just waiting for that box to be used, but it means you have a very active web presence, just like you would answer possibly a ringing phone. You could go and answer the ringing chat box. So that was our first. Like I say, this is going to be quite a high level. I want to introduce lots of things quickly. There's no doubt opportunities in the future to go into more in-depth detail. We can answer any questions if you've got anything particular. But as highlighted by the government, I think there's a massive opportunity in the UK for e-commerce. I'm sure you're getting a lot of clients who are maybe fully e-commerce or thinking about doing more e-commerce or wanting to take their traditional bricks and mortar businesses online. I know we have some accountants. I've called out KPMG on this one as they try, as they might, to go into the small business area, clearly using a lot of e-commerce themselves. And we see this time again with many accountants finding different ways to actually start selling packages, services online. I would highlight that as well. I must admit, and I will call them out here on this one, I had a dig around on their website, clicked a couple of links on the KPMG KPMG website, and there was a few of them that actually get this next page. But the one I clicked on to get this was Meet the Team. I was very interested to meet the small business accounting team at KPMG. I clicked the link and I got that page, which says nothing to see here. So maybe the KPMG web team want to go and check that out if they would be listening. So if anybody knows anybody at the KPMG Small Business Accounting web team, you might want to tell them their website is a little broken. And this is a part all of us need to look at how active and present we are on our websites. But certainly I couldn't find any way on the KPMG where they were starting to actually do full e-commerce and take payments for their packages. And this is where many of us know there's so many fantastic ways to take payment online, payment on the web. It's now possible for businesses to use tools like Go Cardless that many of you will know, an instant direct debiting system to get paid online. I know many accountants are using Go Cardless now, and how that will integrate with the back office systems and the accounting software. But I give a lot of talks to businesses, meet a lot of businesses, and still the awareness of the systems like Go Cardless, Stripe for credit cards that we can do is still very, very low. And the benefits to businesses that can start using some of these great technologies, and it's all cloud technology, it's all possible because of cloud technology, and it means we can integrate them with cloud technology. Again, I'm sure we've got all our own experiences, but in the last 2 weeks at home, I've just swapped over to a new window cleaner, and the first thing that a new window cleaner asked was to get paid by Go Cardless. And that just seemed a fantastic thing, rather than the way they would have done previously, come and wash our windows and then have to come around in the evening, the next day, next week, drive around the estate to collect the money. They can now just do it seamlessly, take it by direct debit, far more efficient. How many clients can we think of that would benefit from being paid instantly by direct debit on Go Cardless? Not sure how many window cleaning clients you've got, but it'd be lovely to mention to them that would be a far more efficient way if they're not already using it. Again, seeing more accountants using all of these systems as well. Another report that I've read recently, and if you've had a chance to have a look at this, I think it did have some interesting figures, was the Lloyd's UK Business Digital Index 2017, which has been going for a few years. I must admit, part of it, I'm amazed by the figures. I'm not at all sure they're representative of the UK as a whole. If you see at the very top of that, businesses managing their invoices accounts digitally, I think if we were anywhere near to 82% being that of all businesses, then making tax digital might not be so challenging. But I think we're, from the whole of the UK, a bit aware of that. But just looking at these stats, go right to the bottom, we know that selling through a website is still a minority of businesses. And all the statistics, whichever service they are still telling us that we might be growing, possibly growing fast or growing slow, but still a very small minority of businesses are actively selling online on a regular basis. And the crazy thing there is that actually the UK is per head the most popular market for e-commerce, meaning that in the UK citizens love buying online. As you can see that there, we may only have 99 billion US dollars in trade, but actually if we work that out per head, we spend more per head than the US, and we spend more per head than the Chinese and all of the other nations. They may have a bigger e-commerce market, but we have the biggest per head. We like spending more money online than any other nation. The unfortunate thing is there's not enough businesses taking advantage of it. The other stats which were interesting that came out the same is how frequently people around the world are very happy to buy from online shoppers from an overseas retailer. So it's very high percentages for most people, over 50% of people from the different countries who will buy goods and services from a website from another country. So looking at sort of Africa, Latin America, Asia Pacific, it would be absolutely fantastic if some of our clients were actually selling abroad via e-commerce. Enormous markets that are looking for goods. I'm sure we've got absolutely fantastic goods in the UK that the Chinese market would love to buy, can't get, and we're not actually making it actively available on e-commerce stores. And that goes for products and services. I'm going to mention Shopify as probably the fastest growing e-commerce platform today. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. It is a fantastic platform. It is fully cloud hosted. It means that nearly anybody could, with a good internet or broadband connection, could go on today, set up an e-commerce store, get it integrated in. And the growth of Shopify in the UK and the rest of the world for existing businesses, for new businesses to start very, very quickly. Gone are the days when you needed to invest heavily, lots of money up front on your own e-commerce store, on developers to develop your own e-commerce store and get it designed. Just like we're seeing with the likes of Xero and different systems, the ability to actually go and sign up, have it all managed and controlled for you is out there, and starting from a very affordable cost. And no one would be surprised that the Shopify is a platform, and there's lots of things that you can add on to it, and there is an add-on for lots of accounting software. I've picked on the Xero one, but there is a Xero add-on that would mean that you could have a Shopify store integrated in with another cloud technology like Xero, doing your accounting for you pretty much instantly, no doubt, with the advice of a good accountant to make sure you've got it set up correctly from a taxes point of view and a Xero point of view. And you might also have some people advising you on e-commerce as well. But this ability now just to go and switch things on at a click of a button and get e-commerce stores set up quickly, I think is a phenomenal opportunity for a lot of businesses. And we've got many clients who 2 or 3 years ago started in a back bedroom selling things out of Shopify, and now are into the multi-million pound turnover, needing even more systems to run themselves efficiently. I'm sure we can understand the reasons why you'd want to do e-commerce, but clearly there's the client demand, as in people want to buy things online. We've got the biggest market per head in the UK, which clearly love buying things online. It is, a reduction in friction, the ability to just go on, buy something, make that purchase, even if it was a service that you were going to be receiving, to go and sign up and actually get paid. It really does reduce the time and effort to do that. As I'm sure the government would approve of this growth opportunity we can get to sell new products to new markets, get new customers in new ways that we haven't even thought of today. There's going to be lots of opportunities to be able to quickly and affordably set up these systems. It does open up a whole world of export, yes, no doubt. Talk to your these clients will need to talk to their accountants about duties and VAT and taxes and everything else, which is a great opportunity also. But the real opportunity is to sell more to new markets, and that ability to use these cloud technologies to open up the stores to anywhere around the world to get our products and services out there. We ourselves, as cloud integrators and consultants, have clients all around the world, have clients in Australia, have clients in Ireland who found us purely on the web, and we've been able to sell direct to them. And of course, there is that sort of automation of order taking and payments, again, reducing the overhead. I have mentioned one of my favorite acronyms already, CRM, Customer Relationship Management, a customer database. And still so many businesses don't have this. I know many accountants will have practice management, no doubt, and software to manage your clients, and people maybe have systems to manage their customers, but a lot of time we're not managing prospects or maybe leads as well as we might be. I've just shown a quick system here. Well, this is actually Capsule CRM. If you've heard of Capsule, very popular CRM system. I know used by some accountants, used by many small businesses, and it just gives us that initial data about leads, how many leads we've got in a month, how many deals we've closed, how many proposals we've got out there, how many we've won. And it can be fantastic to see the conversion rates and see how we can improve on our conversion rates. And I think this is a lot where we can be helping our clients think about how they can start recording some of this information and actually seeing this on their business. What's their conversion rate from prospect to client? How quickly are they converting people? How can they quicker convert? And where do they have their successes? And some of these systems very easily available, CRM systems that they could take a look at, that we could all take a look at. I've got a few examples here. I do put HubSpot If anyone's heard of HubSpot CRM, I put it on the slide there. It's one we use a lot at the moment. There's many CRM tools available, but with HubSpot actually has a fantastic CRM tool, which is actually free. It's a free available CRM that anybody can go and try. And the CRM element can be free forever. There's certain parts of it they want you to pay for, a bit like the freemium model, but plenty to go out free. Where these tools really come into their own is when you start integrating them with other parts. A lot of work we do integrates HubSpot with WordPress, which is a well-known website builder, but HubSpot will integrate with lots of different websites. So if you get a contact or a lead, you can bring them straight into your CRM system. SurveyMonkey, if anybody's heard of SurveyMonkey, absolutely fantastic tool for getting feedback. Great. I see some accountants using SurveyMonkey to get feedback from their clients. Again, integrates in with HubSpot, having a central place to put all the information. I've mentioned this already, but I'll touch on it again. Zendesk is a support system, works with HubSpot. You're starting to then actually have a whole suite of tools all working together, all affordable, either free or a very low price for doing this. This is very similar to our setup actually that we run. We run quite a lot of MailChimp campaigns for email marketing, which sadly doesn't directly integrate with HubSpot CRM, but as I'll touch on later, there's often tools that will integrate this for us. There's a tool called Zapier, which will integrate systems that wouldn't have spoken to each other before, but can now pass information between us. And again, for a very low cost, we've got here a marketing system that many businesses are using today, which integrate many different parts, but make it very efficient. And of course, I'll even put on there as a Xero as an example. That's our accounting software, and we actually integrate that with different parts of it as well. All affordable, all cloud, some fantastic tools to help you run your business. Why would we want a CRM? Clearly, as I've mentioned, track and record leads, prospects, and pipeline, as well as the clients. Clients are clearly absolutely our focus, but many people are not tracking or recording leads, interaction with prospects and pipeline. Having a central hub, like we did there in that diagram, really for our marketing. There's many different systems we might use, like SurveyMonkey for doing surveys, but having that central hub to control everything can be very beneficial. We can often want to share information. It might be that you're using an external marketing team. Maybe you have a virtual assistant somewhere in the UK or even across the world who helps you and supports and works with you. We work with many clients remotely, and we can all access the same systems. We can share it across department, teams, and share it across countries. Again, connecting other parts of the business, making our enterprise resource planning systems. We can connect it with our accounts, with our reporting systems. Bit of a wide area, this one, but it could help with the latest data protection laws that we're going to have to comply with, the GDPR. Under the new GDPR rules, the rights to request information and the rights to have information deleted are quite extensive. So having systems, central systems that we fully control, can clearly see what information we hold within them, is hopefully going to help us if we get those information requests, where we will need to deliver to people what information we hold for them. And of course, if we get any request to delete any information, maybe information on leads or prospects, not even clients or ex-clients, hopefully this is going to help us make us more compliant with GDPR. And again, we'll be choosing systems, choosing CRMs that are themselves GDPR compliant. As we are often the data controllers, we'll need to look for systems that are compliant with the GDPR as a data processor. A very interesting area, which I'm sure that Shane will be touching on in future webinars, as we have to look more closely with that 25th of May deadline of next year. But moving swiftly on, we've got lots to cover, and I'm going to get straight into when they've sort of become a client and the areas of project management. And of course, as accountants, we all know it's all about the project management and getting the jobs in, getting them done and getting them out. And I'm sure you've got great systems and software for that, but there are lots of great examples of cloud software out there, from Microsoft Project, which now has its cloud version of Office 365, to Trello. I'm sure many people have come across Trello, which is a very, very simple web-based system to allow teams to work on any sort of project. Trello is based on the original idea from Toyota in its manufacturing workflows of a Kanban system. And if anyone's not come across a Kanban system, it's a very simple system of to do, doing, and done. This is just a very quick graphic showing that some people do these as post-it notes, stick it on their wall, have a column for to do, having a column for doing and done. Often doesn't need to be just the client work that you're doing. It can just be very simple projects that you might be working on internally. Could be the marketing, could be anything that you need to share or work collaboratively on. I've shown a quick Trello board here. Trello is one of my favorite tools. Many other software tools that can do this, but probably Trello is one of the best to do a Kanban board. You can probably just about see on this slide here. Again, it's got the to do, doing and done idea, and we can just drag and drop, move things from different columns across, put different people on there for different tasks, put deadline dates, and of course it's all completely web-based, can work across mobile, tablet. It's a fantastic little tool that could help people with remote teams, external teams, just manage things. Although I have seen whole professional firms using all of their clients have a Trello board, and that's the great thing as well. If you wish to, you could go and have a Trello board that you shared with a client on a particular project that you were working with them on, allow them to update it, but probably most importantly, see where they are on that at any one time. I was speaking with a group of businesses the other day, and one in particular highlighted where a construction company had used a Trello board on the project they were working on, and they said how fantastic it was to see exactly where they were, see where the snagging issues were, and be able to go and put things on the board and not have them forgotten. Whereas in the previous with other construction companies where people had written on the back of a fag packet, things had got forgotten. Now, 5 reasons why we might want to look at different project management. And this is really, as I mentioned there, maybe more for internal projects. If you've got little things where you're working together as a team, things you've got to work on, maybe a digital transformation project as you're bringing more cloud into your business, just how you manage that implementation integration could be done on a Trello board as you involve different members of the team. Great for managing external and client projects, because straight away everybody can look at the same thing. With our international clients who are on different time zones, it really helps them go and have a look at where we are on a project at any time of day, 24/7. And we know where any information is on that project because we just know that it'll be on the Trello board. Hopefully seamless team workflow, even with those team members who are working remotely. And I think more and more so we're working with people who are working from home part of the time, who maybe are working different hours from us, that can work collaboratively. On these boards, I've used a Trello example, but many of them are the same. The ability to share tasks, put documents on there, and calendars, and share lots of information. And of course, you won't be surprised that Trello and a lot of these project management will then integrate with the other systems that we're using, other ones that we've mentioned here today. A lot of them will seamlessly work together, making us more efficient. I think client portals are something that's going to have a lot of discussion, a lot more in depth than we're going to be able to do justice today, but I think it's just worth mentioning as part of all of these great cloud technologies that we can be taking advantage of. I know there's many accountants and professional firms that are using client portals at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to see many more. There's many different portals out there. I've just put 2 examples there, which are specifically designed for accountancy, but equally the portals out there. Obviously, SharePoint from Microsoft is a great example of a portal. Clinked, I know, have a specific one for the accountancy market, which is also widely available. Zendesk and Podio are creating areas where we can safely and securely interact with our clients, that we can put documents that need sharing, maybe documents that need signing, everything from tax returns to engagement letters, and actually having a whole new platform to communicate with our clients, probably taking us out of email, having a secure place for a client to go and log into and go and have a look at. Again, things we just talked about there, it could be far more efficient area of communication with a client if they can log into their portal and have the area there. Easy client onboarding, getting them to complete information directly into our systems that we can integrate with. hopefully are fully encrypted as well, our portals that we should be looking for. And of course, integrating with other software as well. I think on the fifth one there, this may also be an area that will help us with GDPR compliance. Many accountants looking at email now, seeing that it's an insecure communication method or partly insecure, and understanding how we can better communicate with our clients and become GDPR compliant, and maybe that a secure portal. Again, we'll see pay slips, no doubt, far more likely in the future in a secure portal than being sent by email. Sort of lends itself onto client support systems, because sometimes this, again, be a portal, be part of the portal, or might be completely separate. But I brought this down to some different ones here. And number one, I've just put an FAQ. If you've got no other support system for your clients, or some professional services may not have a support system, just having an FAQ area, maybe in the portal, maybe even on the website, or an area that's accessed by a client, is getting us started with having a support system. When we do a lot of work looking at websites and web analysis, an FAQ page is, where there is an FAQ page, is one of the most popular pages on many websites. But many websites I look at, particularly professional services, don't have FAQ pages. I think the ability to easily create FAQ pages is a great opportunity for us and our clients. You know, it does allow us to better service some repeat questions, and maybe again building little knowledge bases for our clients, maybe that they can see in the portal. Saves time. Of course, the chat box. It may be that you only have a chat box for supported clients. Maybe there's only a chat box inside the portal, and that may not be for instant interaction. It may just allow the client to interact with you, leave you questions that you can get to at a different point later. Again, integration with the portal, part of the support system might be the portal. Great opportunities. And of course, you know, we'll touch on the ideas that people can leave queries, even ticket. You create a ticket for someone that they can leave a query. You can tell them you've actually logged it in your system, and you can actually keep that record and be able to get back to them and keep them updated of any issues. Again, I've plucked out of the Lloyd's UK Business Digital Index 2017 of different ways that firms use communicating. It said on that last one there, you see, provide clear information and offer FAQ service. It could only find 18% of businesses did that, which I would have thought was really the absolute basics of wanting to do electronically on the web, is just have a very simple FAQ. And I think if for the people who haven't got FAQs, we start to look at these areas, there's a lot of benefits. I'm not sure if that was my desk or somebody else's desk. I think it's someone's desk in a firm of accountants somewhere. I think that's many the way for some people. We've got lots of things to deal with, and too many post-it notes of too many queries, or someone's out to lunch, or someone's in a meeting and we haven't been able to get back to the person and get them a meeting. What we're really looking to do is having efficient systems and move people away. And if you've got any clients who have a desk like that with all their queries, maybe you could be suggesting to them that some sort of support system would be a great way for them to capture the queries and make sure they've got happy clients when they were answering those queries. I'll put one there, there's many, but Zendesk is a fantastic online cloud system for doing support. I'll bring you back to that Australian site again. Remember their chat box was a Zendesk system. Well, you know, why would you? Obviously, we think it would provide better customer service and obviously cost effective and efficient as well. The ability to use remote teams to offer a wider service. We're seeing many businesses now bringing in bookkeepers, bringing in technology and zero experts, and maybe they're not on premise all the time, or maybe they're not in the same building or the same location, not even on the same time zone. But using these tools, we can offer a wider support service. Great to connect all those different areas on Zendesk. If you send an email in, capture a telephone message, use a chat box, we've got them all in one central location. A great way actually to effectively report on all those queries as well, see where we're getting the most queries from and cost them out. And many businesses now have more of an IT and e-commerce element than ever before. I can see this for a lot for accountants. Many accountants now offering support for Xero, QuickBooks, Sage 1. And that means that we do tend to take a lot more how do I do this questions. Could I do it like that? I've got an issue with that. I've got this that doesn't balance. We've got to start capturing those queries as efficiently as possible and start answering them efficiently. Maybe we haven't got our Xero certified member staff available at the moment. Maybe we use someone externally to help us with this. Maybe we need to put that query to Xero and wait for an answer to come back. Lots of issues in the way that we're changing the way that we do business. We're changing the way that we support. Some accountants becoming far more like software companies, far more like IT companies to actually support their clients. Roll straight into document management, which I know is an issue for many accountants, and many accountants got some great solutions. But of course, with the cloud now, we can have so many ways to store those documents. And many of you obviously will know all of these. They're all around us all the time. Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive. Sometimes maybe we just use them as a secure backup. Great that many of these offer encrypted solutions that are secure, and we need to make sure that we're GDPR compliant. Of course, there's different systems that are specifically designed for having documents signed. Systems like Practice Ignition, which particularly work with proposals. Again, these things integrate things. I think there's some discussions, Shane, with yourself and Practice Ignition at the moment.
Yeah, I was just mentioning to Phil actually that we're in touch with Practice Ignition to bolt in our Times Up software. Many of you will know that's our value pricing software for accountants. We're just bolting that in with Practice Ignition now, so that's going to have a lot more flexibility, and that'll come into it in a relatively short space of time just because of the bolt-on aspect there. So yeah, that's my two penneth.
As you know, Practice Ignition, specifically designed to work for accountants. I'll put PandaDoc on there. PandaDoc is a similar type solution, but could be used for any type of business. We actually use PandaDoc ourselves in our business. PandaDoc allows you to create a proposal. You might just be able to see on the left-hand side sort of a pricing box, but then integrates with Xero. So it could be that any business that has any sort of terms and conditions with pricing can create their contract in PandaDoc, design it themselves. Once that document's been signed electronically, it can automatically produce an invoice within Xero, create the deposit invoice within Xero, however you want that created. Very fast and effective. Again, great cloud system that integrates in different parts of people's businesses. Fantastic that accountants can take advantage of things like Practice Ignition and other systems, but also thinking about our clients who may be in the professional services or have terms and conditions that they want to get out. Systems like PandaDoc and other ones can be fantastic for doing that. Again, reasons why we want to look at cloud documentation: the ease of collaboration and sharing. Maybe someone's helping us with our proposals or helping us with our documents. Great times to integrate. Again, all of these tools can be integrated together. I see many people using different cloud tools and using specific tools, but not always integrating these to the different areas of their business. It could be that we integrate the document manager to the customer portal or integrate it to the CRM. Clearly, within accountancy, there's lots of documents we need to get signed, right from the start of the engagement letter all the way through to the tax returns and the final documents. And of course, as part of GDPR now, we're going to want to get as many documents with consent recorded as well. And this way, by these document management systems may really help us. The storage, there's many a firm who is struggling with the amount of paper. You know, maybe the paperless office is never going to be achievable in our lifetime, but certainly if we've got a lot more digitally, and most importantly, digitally that we can search for. So maybe we have got that piece of paper in an archive box in the cellar somewhere, but the fact that when we want to go and search for something, it's an instant into the document management system, search for what we want, instantly recovered. And of course, GDPR compliance again. Secure encrypted storage of the documentation, but equally quick and easily disposal, deletion where we need to and where we want to within our systems. Going on to all these ones, no doubt we're using Zoom now.
Yes, we are indeed.
Shame. So video, it is a webinar, but we are video conferencing, and of course this is video conferencing software that we're using now. I've put two examples on there. Skype for Business. Many people I know use that, owned by Microsoft now, but Zoom is just a fantastic tool, and you're clearly using Zoom now, so you're all used to using Zoom. Whether you use Zoom to have a video conference with a client, though, I think is a fantastic opportunity. It's clearly cloud software. Now, if you've got a good internet connection, hopefully you have now to receive this webinar, you can start using these tools to communicate with your clients. Zoom can be used across many devices, so you can be talking to your client on their iPhone, on their Android phone. There's even a setup which Zoom calls Zoom Rooms. There's an extra bit of software in the cloud that you use, and you can even start to use iPads as the control panel to start having much wider and better communication with clients. I remember the last firm I worked for was BDO Story Hayward over about 15 years ago, and we had video conferencing across all of the offices. It cost tens and tens of thousands of pounds to set up. With a couple of good screens, a good webcam, video camera, and the software from Zoom Rooms, you can have a full video conferencing setup for an absolute fraction of the price. The ability there to have meetings with clients and prospects is absolutely fantastic.
Just before you progress, just notice that Hilary said she's got to leave, and there's quite a few asked if the slides are available. Yes, they will be available, so will a recording of this. So Hilary, if you managed to catch that before you left, then yes, you're okay.
I think many of us can think of the benefits of video conferencing. Obviously, it saves time and money. No need to travel. No need to sit in traffic jams. Especially great for regular meetings with clients. Video calls with multiple participants. I'm working at the moment with a firm of specialist tax consultants who are using video conferencing a lot. They'll often be working with their accountant alongside the accountant, often need to bring in a legal party from a firm. Then they'll have the clients who could be anywhere in the world. Suddenly we've got 3, 4, 5 parties that need to get together and have a discussion, and video conferencing is fantastic for that. Again, it humanises the conversation. You can see each other, see the expression on the face when you tell them how much the bill is going to be. Great for demonstrating products or showing presentations, just as we are doing now. Maybe you want to show Client Zero or Receipt Bank or any of the fantastic tools that you're using. Just jump onto Zoom, do a demonstration of your laptop there, and then jump into your Zoom room setup to do a full video conference. Of course, we can connect staff who work remotely again. People who are working from home, people who are working from different offices. An amazing opportunity, very cost effective. As we're going through into reporting and dashboards now, I know many of you will know these tools. Futurely, previously Crunchboard, Spotlight. But this is a fast-moving area. We're seeing new players come into the market all the time. Fathom, Float for cash flow, short-term cash flow reporting. There's many great tools, and I know that many accountants working with these sort of dashboarding tools that we can see now. Fantastic opportunity to show information to clients. Again, I could see these really working well in a video conferencing environment where you can connect to your clients briefly if maybe you were offering that service to them. But this is much wider in the dashboarding area. There's lots of tools now, which not only just accounting information, but taking in other areas as well. Here's a quick example of a Clipfolio board, which actually brings in information from all different systems, from the CRM, from the website, lots and lots of different areas we can bring information from. Great for showing our clients KPIs, having them all on one screen and seeing that information. Clearly, they can be customized. This is something that a lot of accountants are doing now, spending time customizing for the most useful information. Still allows us to drill down many of these tools to see the core information underneath. It can be a lot easier for, and I say that for the non-financial end user, the people who, you know them, the clients who don't really understand the accounts, who don't understand the numbers, but can understand a visual graph or can understand the trend that is going on. I'm working with a few charities at the moment with their executive boards, where we end up with many people on the board who aren't really financial people, but they need to understand financial numbers, and we've done some great dashboards for them to understand it. Of course, it can be a great offering, part of the accountant service offering as well. I know many people building these dashboards into the services they offer. Number 10, before my bonus of 1, just want to touch on the integration apps. I've already mentioned 9 different areas, 9 different apps essentially, and sometimes getting them to all talk together can be quite hard, but there are even apps out there to help us do this. Many people may have heard of Zapier, which is a fantastic app to connect things, maybe OneSource. Just a couple of quick examples of what these can do. Again, these are just high-level, quick examples to make people aware. You'll probably have heard in the budget that the government will now hold eBay and Amazon responsible for any unpaid VAT from online sellers. So OneSource does a fantastic help for some people who sell on eBay. Xero doesn't automatically connect with eBay. It's not very easy to connect Xero with eBay, but actually OneSource is a tool that will actually bring all the eBay orders and invoices into Xero, make sure these eBay sellers are paying their VAT properly. There's no doubt eBay are going to be cracking down on a lot of traders on these platforms, and we'll see a lot more of this. It gets quite ridiculous when you look at how many cloud applications there are that can connect together. Zapier will connect over 750 different applications. But I'll just show you a quick example of something we've done internally and something we've worked on with clients. We've got a WordPress website that people can sign up to and buy from. Once you've signed up, we can actually then take payment via Stripe or set you even up directly onto Go Cardless using the integration, using Zapier where we need to. The next step, we can automatically start sending invoices via Xero. We update our MailChimp where they've given us consent, because of course we need consent under the new GDPR, and straight away update our contacts. We use Google Contacts. We then, using Zapier, create a Trello project board for the client and also do an automatic email out to the client for the link to the Trello board and where they can go and access and view, all part of our onboarding process. Also, Zapier automatically creates the new client folder and uploads any relevant documents to the Google Drive. And if we wanted to, we can even schedule a tweet at that point of view, either welcoming the client or sending them a direct message. That actually only leaves one thing for Zapier to do, and that's turn the kettle on, which it can do. That's the Wemo, is a Belkin product which actually turns the plug on. So Zapier can do all of that workflow and even boil your kettle for you to make the cup of tea at the end. There's nothing these systems can hardly do. It's thinking about what workflow would help you. And why would we use the integration apps? Well, clearly save time and money by eliminating the need to complete tasks manually. Anywhere we can reduce data, duplication of effort and reduce area has to save time and money. Sharing information across the different apps and teams, again, absolutely the big benefits of using these applications, being able to share it across the teams, and clearly create workflows, whether it be client onboarding or boiling a kettle. So that in my top 10 just leaves me to give you the number 11, and very quickly I'll just mention some internal communication tools that are changing the way many people are doing business and doing internal communication. You may have heard of Slack. Yammer was a tool, and actually Microsoft Teams is the latest thing. If you've got Office 365, Microsoft Teams is a great tool to look at. Very quick screenshot here. It's taking people out of email and putting them into threaded discussions. Great internally, where maybe you're having too many emails between internal people, which actually isn't very effective. Creating rooms and channels where people can have a threaded discussion. It's like a private Facebook group, but you control it. It's all encrypted. It's secure, internal for your team. Fantastic opportunity to look at. Again, just a very high level. Slides will be available. We've even got notes of all the things that we've had to quickly go through in this short time we've got here today. You won't be surprised that Slack and other tools will then integrate with all the other tools, so you can share, collaborate, and update from the different software you're using. Why do you want to use a tool like Slack? Maybe keep your staff informed and engaged, not needing them to be an email. Keep all team communication in one place and see all team communication that we need to share. It then becomes searchable and filterable, unlike people now having to search in their Outlook. The ability to share documents and collaborate all within one environment. You can, within Slack, share a document on there, give a link to a Google Doc, give a link to Office 365, and be working on it collaboratively, discussing it all in one area. Escape email. That's something I'd like to do sooner and quicker every day. Less email, more interactive communication with our teams. I say that was a very fast overview, very high level, just to give you some idea of the tools that are out there that might be able to help you if you're not already using them. Maybe great for some of your clients. We've covered the first line communications, the second line communications, and the back office. Just to give you a very quick picture of that. So on the first line, you've got your customer support and your e-commerce, your chat box and your Zoom. Maybe when they become clients, you've got your portal and your dashboards and your project management. in the back office, maybe your CRM and your Slack. And I'm never getting away. Then really, we haven't even mentioned, because take this as a given. You've got an engine. You've got your heart of your business, which is your practice management, your online accounting software, whichever you may be using. I'll finish on that slide there before we go to questions, which is bang on
well done. Yeah.
On an hour for that part. But if anybody wanted, we actually have a little PDF notes, or wanted to receive our newsletter, and it'd be full consent because under new GDPR rules, there is a little URL go to there. But I appreciate people who give up the time to get some questions if we've got some.
Yeah, let's do that. So, well, first of all, and I've made a quick note of what the questions are so far. So, first of all, we can't do a round of applause on here. I thought that was fantastic. If you've got value from this session, would you just place a yes in the chat box now for Phil's benefit? Yeah, baby.
And there's someone I need to connect to on LinkedIn. Yes.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you very much for that. That's fantastic. Spot on. And yeah, I mean, 110 people tuned in for that. Well, there were more at one point, but a few did say that they had to leave. So that's fair enough. All right, Richard, spot on. Brilliant. Right. Well, I'm going to flick some of those questions now. I did make a note as the yeses are still coming in. So thank you everybody for that. That's fantastic. Nigel, in fact, 2 questions came from Nigel. Well, in fact, there were many questions came about the slides. I think I've already answered that question. The slides are going to be available, so that's fantastic. Colin asked, what was number 8? I wonder how.
There was 2 number 9s, I think, wasn't there? Again, I'm just proving why I'm not an accountant anymore. I think there was definitely 11 in there. I think there was no number 8 and 2 number 9s, and that's why I work in IT. I'll come to you with help for the numbers. Apologies.
So Nigel asked about, first of all, Nigel asked about the chat box, actually, saying, aren't people going to expect an instant reply? Could I just give my 2 pence on that one, actually? I think, Nigel, it depends on the expectations. Just to give an independent scenario, not accountancy related, but actually Sky related. I keep getting problems with my phone line where I am. I'm rural and the phone line keeps getting chewed by rats. So I have to get Sky to deal with that because that's who I deal with. And my challenge is that if I try and phone them up, I can be on a queue for about 30 minutes. Then I have to go through a process of diagnostics because somebody's following a system and it's a nightmare. And actually what I find is on their chat box, they basically specify that we might not be able to respond straight away, but you will get an alert on your phone because it's through their app when somebody's available. So I find that fantastic because I can just bring a quick question in. In fact, I can just get everything off my chest to say, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Can somebody who can help me come back to me? And for me, it doesn't matter then if it's the next day. I find that emails go into a black hole with Sky, but actually that works. And I think for me, it's ultimately about setting the expectations on the website. Say we may, our promise is to get back to you within a minute or 10 minutes or an hour or whatever. So yeah, whatever you'd like to add to that, and just sort of get that across.
Again, depending on how well you can see the screenshots, I think the first app I showed was an app called Intercom. And Intercom actually shows the average time of response. And that screenshot, I think, said, the average time of response was 2 hours on that screenshot. And I suppose someone could make the decision there. The other one, the Australian accountant, was clearly offline. And again, it was just going to pass a message through. But it's each to their own. Like I say, many of us would answer a ringing phone.
Mm.
So we may have some capacity to answer it there. Also because of that level of automation, Zendesk will sort of take a message. You put the message in the message box. If it hasn't replies within 30 seconds or 60 seconds, it can then do an automated message, say, sorry, all of our people are currently busy. We will forward this by email. So I think there's lots of things that can help you with there, but there's no doubt there's a high expectation by some clients that they do want to be dealt with quickly and easily.
I'm finding more and more LinkedIn messages coming in. People see the instant chat as their preferred method of communication, whereas email, you kind of have an expectation that it may not get an instant reply. Yeah, I'm certainly on the receiving end of many a LinkedIn message, and I suppose we feel compelled to reply instantly as well in that case. Just moving on to the next question, also from Nigel in this case. HubSpot, you say you thought that was the Rolls Royce of CRM and therefore expensive.
So I'm going to say this has been a relatively recent change. So absolutely, I'll say now, HubSpot actually is a full digital marketing suite, which is quite expensive. But very expensive for most SMEs. It'll do all your digital marketing, your social media, email marketing for a price. I think standard price is probably somewhere around £300 per user per month. So as you can understand at the high end, the CRM element they have made free, which is, I think, is absolutely fantastic. Some could say it's it's like that freemium model, but actually the CRM element offers a lot for a small business. And they would never want the social media and email marketing. And to get started or to have a look at something, it's a brilliant tool, and it's fantastic they've made that element of it free to everybody. Equally, something like a capsule CRM, which would be very comparative to HubSpot, is sort of £9 per user per month, so quite low. But if you do want to look for a free tool, I would recommend looking at a HubSpot, which is just the CRM element. You don't get all the fantastic whistles and bells and the email marketing and the digital.
Brilliant, thank you. One there from Mark Loughton, suggestions for actual practice management software. So arguably you just went there, but...
So as for suggestions from me for practice management software,
I'm guessing so, yeah.
Yeah, obviously you've got a very, very wide choice, but I think these days we need to be, goes back to probably what I've been saying here, is integration to other systems. So again, if you are working with particular clients who use Xero or use QuickBooks, then I'd no doubt be looking at the integration there and be thinking what you're going to be doing with portals. Clearly some practice management people offer portals as part of their suite. So I think how you approach portals and different elements of the cloud can often help you pick your practice management. Again, Xero themselves offer their own practice management, and other software companies are going in that area. If you're looking at the cloud, there are some ones, and again, happy to have a conversation probably offline another time about some of the newest, latest cloud practice management solutions.
Good stuff. I think still a question from Karim there regarding, unless you're referring to HubSpot, the last one there. So the software with CRM free, that was called HubSpot, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, HubSpot CRM. So if you Google, like most of these things, like anything now that we want, I could give you a list of links, but really there's one link. If you put any of these names into Google, you'll find one. If you put HubSpot CRM free, you will get to the free version. And that, again, you can add multiple users on that. Very good CRM package.
Brilliant. One from Hillary there. You could also, well, it's more of a suggestion, I think, there, but yeah, it's a great suggestion. You could potentially outsource that, couldn't you? I suppose many of us are outsourcing, as you stated there, inbound telephone conversation and that. And I suppose, personally, I mean, it is a good point that if I see a chat box, I'd rather use that than an FAQ. Arguably, I might get my answer quick using FAQ, but I suppose sometimes I'm quite daunted by them as well, because they tend to go down this funnel of finding the answer. Actually, just almost outsourcing somebody else to use your FAQ to answer something on a chat box would work, wouldn't it? So, and depending on who you get in touch, that they're going to know a lot of information already, aren't they? So, yeah, it's a great suggestion, Hillary.
Yeah, I know many businesses that are outsourced that first line, which a lot of the time, just sometimes like people are doing on the phone, is organising the right person to get back in contact at the right time. Even often the virtual PA type roles, who are taking that initial message and then booking people into people's calendars, all using cloud technology and calendars. And that, I think that's a very effective way. Once you've got them in the chat box, you've captured them. Then book them in for a call and schedule at a later time. But the main thing is you captured them. With a website where there's no chat box, you're running the risk of not capturing them.
Yeah, I agree. Shahid there on the Q&A one to the left there, he's wanting more of a firm recommendation from you.
I'm sure Shane will hopefully agree with me. It's so much horses for courses. One practice management will suit one. Obviously, I'm not knowing enough about your your personal situation or your business situation, depending. Practice management there's so many choices, and it depends what you're looking to do. And clearly, there is no doubt an investment of time and effort by everybody in their firm to understand their own people and processes. Everything in technology, I believe, is not so much to do with technology. It's all to do with people and processes. And it's really for the firm themselves to really have a good grasp of their own people and processes, and most importantly, the people and the processes they want going forward. So there'll be a lot of questions coming back on that one, Shahid, more about your own business, your own processes that you want, your own people. And it's not, let's be honest, it's not a light decision to take. And I know many people who've jumped into practice management software and have regretted it deeply. It's a good way to waste some time and money of getting the wrong one, and then realising a year later or however a year later. And it can be also quite painful to move between practice management. And once you're embedded into one, and I'm sure some people can think of this, once you've sort of taken your supplier, you've taken all the things from them, you've got all your data in, it can be very hard to move away. So you need to know you're with the best one possible, and the work and effort and cost you're going to put into it is going to give you a return on investment. I'm not sure, I should have probably said that a few more times today. It's all about return on investment.
Yeah, and I think that partly stems on to what Philip Kaplan mentions there about, it is a forever changing environment, and how do you keep track? And I think I used to have, many of you might know that, we still have an internal development team, and with programs especially, they always want to stay on top of the latest developments and are happy to leapfrog to the latest one all the time. And I think for me that made us that inhibited our ability to be productive, because there's more time being spent learning and discovering how to work the latest thing than actually sticking with it for maybe a few years and then moving on, even though it's got to be out today. That's my opinion. Philip may well have a different opinion to that, but
some could say this is the downside of the cloud, and maybe again people's experiences with Xero or QuickBooks is that you are always on the latest version whether you want it or not. And it's that instant upgrade, but many people know. So hopefully people will take that sort of approach with a Xero, that you might have been using Xero for 5 years. The core of the product is still the same. We can still use it. There's no fundamental overnight changes, just lots and lots of incremental changes. And a lot of the time they don't affect how we work on a day-to-day basis. But you're right, how do you keep up with all these changes? Obviously one way would be to sign up to our newsletter, and we'll try and keep you updated. But it's a very fast moving market. There's a lot of changes. And again, with the products, all of those products I've mentioned today, you would be getting the latest version every time you're logged in. But I think, as with maybe the Xero and QuickBooks example, the core hopefully will stay the same. And as long as we're benefiting from the core, we as business people have just got to do the best we can to stay up. But we know we've got a skills gap. We know we've got a training issue. And there's certain places we can go to get training and keep our skills up to date.
Yeah, cool. One question from Craig, and that looks to be the last question, so maybe we'll wrap up on that. You referred to a gov.uk document, but it's not in your course notes on your link there.
I can certainly give the notes out, and again on the Google, that's fully available there for the Digital Strategy March 2017. But I can certainly make sure we get that out on the link, Shane.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll send a follow-up email from here anyway, telling you how to watch the recording, how to download the slides. Again, we'll put this link in as well. I noticed that Colin's just asked how to download the course notes, so that'll come through in the follow-up email from this as well. So hopefully that'll help. Okay, definitely last question this time then. So Nigel, Gilroy, E and Y are spending big money on AI. Are they going to come up with game changers? I think that's probably a definite yes anyway, isn't it? Because it's always the case. We'll go and watch.
But absolutely, a whole other presentation on artificial intelligence, and all the big firms again, I think, are investing heavily on the latest technology. And of course, we're seeing the likes of Xero and QuickBooks investing heavily, which is just going to make things more automated. And as we know, the area of actually creating a set of accounts and on all of those early parts of that part, is completely changing for all accountants and bookkeepers. And artificial intelligence is definitely changing all professions. But we're going to see it change accountancy, and the big players have got a lot of money. It's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. But it's going to pan out over the next few years. Nothing's going to change tomorrow, but we'll no doubt see it over the next few years.
Brilliant. Okay, well, listen, we're 15 minutes over. Obviously, the attendees have dropped, but I think the questions have also been exhausted now as well. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much, everybody, for your time. And obviously, you've expressed that you've had great value from this. So there's been some fantastic comments there. We will end now. And like I say, look out for that follow-up email. If it's not out today, you'll certainly get it tomorrow. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Can't end it. It wouldn't work for you, would it? Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to end this thing. Yeah, that's just thanks. Okay. Bye-bye.